Division world champion out of Omaha, Nebraska. He's undefeated, 41-0 with 31 KOs, and he begged for this fight. He wanted Canelo bad because to him, it's all about legacy. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what I know. And how would I know? It's because I interviewed him. Yesterday, we sat down. Here is my conversation with the one and only Terrence Crawford challenging Saul Canelo Alvarez, moving up 2 weight divisions to do it.
Looked about the same size, but that was a brilliant performance. And what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that.
Stephen A. Smith couldn't hold back after Canelo Alvarez's shocking loss to Terrence Crawford. He made it clear that Crawford had been chasing this fight for years, not just for money or hype, but to cement his place in boxing history. According to Smith, Crawford stepped into the spotlight on the grandest stage and walked away as the man who stripped Canelo of his shine. This wasn't just another win. It was the kind of moment that flips careers upside down and rewrites legacies forever.
Ain't nobody's running, ain't nobody's hiding, nobody's ducking. I mean, Crawford's going to be right there, ready to trade blows with Canelo Alvarez. Why did you use that word war? Why are you feeling that way?
Max Kellerman was right there co-signing the take, calling Crawford's performance nothing short of historic. He dissected Canelo's downfall like a surgeon, pointing out that stepping into the ring with Crawford is like moving up multiple weight classes overnight. Kellerman stressed that this wasn't just about technique. Canelo was dragged into a dangerous dogfight for the very first time, and Crawford showed zero fear throwing him into unfamiliar waters. Kellerman hammered home the point that real champions don't cherry-pick. They hunt for danger no matter the risk of size, speed, or raw power. And Crawford, he embodied that attitude with ice-cold confidence. For years, nobody dared to call out Bud so boldly. But on this night, he proved why his name now belongs among the most respected in the entire sport.
You go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages. Most of them are Crawford.
Crawford didn't just win. He shattered expectations and left Canelo looking vulnerable in a way fans had never seen before. By taking on that challenge head-on, Terrence Crawford showed why his name carries so much weight. Because as Shakur Stevenson put it, nobody called his name before this moment. Fighters stayed quiet when it came to Bud. But now, the world has no choice but to speak it loud after what went down against Canelo Alvarez. Shakur's admiration for Crawford has always been clear, but this time his respect hit a new level. He said Crawford didn't just talk the talk before the fight, he delivered everything he promised and more, proving exactly why he's held in such legendary regard.
Giving up or having to jump up 2 more weight classes and fight a guy who might put him in a dogfight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody. That night I fought John Ruiz, I didn't care who was over there. Whoever they brought out that locker room was going to get it. You understand me? That's just what it was. And I think Bud kind of has that feeling. Now, Bud, you got to remember, has been around for a long time. Nobody called him out. You understand me? All the time Floyd came at the boxing floor, never said, I want Bud Crawford.
No one ever said his name.
Hey, all I know is one thing, Israel Mazrimov, he didn't get it, he barely lost.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but nobody called his name.
Stevenson admitted that from day one of his own career, he studied Crawford's style, discipline, and unshakable mentality. Watching his idol conquer Canelo on such a historic stage was confirmation that true greatness is built on years of consistency, sacrifice, and relentless preparation. To Stevenson, Crawford isn't just another champion. He's a mentor figure, a living standard of excellence that every rising fighter measures themselves against. And Stephen A. Smith couldn't help but echo that energy. He reminded everyone that Crawford could have demanded Canelo drop to a more favorable weight. But instead, Crawford marched straight into enemy territory at 168 pounds. No shortcuts, no excuses, just pure determination. For Crawford, it was never about convenience. It was about proving that real fighters don't bend the rules. They break through them. Andre Ward, a Hall of Famer who knows all about legacy fights, didn't downplay the magnitude of what Crawford just pulled off. Ward pointed out that Canelo Alvarez built his reputation by beating naturally bigger men, proving over and over that size alone wasn't enough to topple him. But Crawford wasn't intimidated. He stepped into that fire and showed the world that skill, strategy, and icy composure can flip the script against even the most dangerous opponents. Ward stressed that while fans might have seen Canelo's strength as the ultimate weapon, Crawford's secret advantage was his discipline. He broke it down with precision. If Crawford controlled his legs, his movement, and his distance, he could neutralize Canelo's raw power.
Cook Canelo. Said he was going to outbox him. He did exactly what I called years ago, and tonight he proved that he's the greatest boxer to ever live.
Well, in the interview that didn't work, you said you felt like going on a run watching that tonight. How much inspiration can you take from someone like Terence?
I take everything from I've been around him since I was a kid, and just watching that greatness.
And that's exactly what happened in the ring. Crawford didn't just dodge punches, he made Canelo miss big and look uncharacteristically frustrated, something few fighters have ever managed to do. Ward explained that this was no small feat. It was chess at the highest level, a mental and physical war where one mistake could mean disaster. But Crawford proved he wasn't just strong enough to handle the weight jump. He was smart enough to dictate the tempo and expose cracks in Canelo's armor. The victory wasn't luck, it was calculated dominance, and Ward made it clear. This fight will be remembered as the moment Crawford joined the rare class of legends who redefine what's possible in the sport. For Terence Crawford, this fight was never just about winning, it was about legacy. Stephen A. reminded viewers that Canelo Alvarez still sits at the very top of the sport, with a resume stacked full of titles across multiple weight classes. So when Crawford went straight after the exact crown Canelo held at 168 and did it without blinking, it revealed a hunger for greatness that only the boldest fighters possess. Analyst Aid Oladipo spotlighted the wild turnaround in public opinion that followed Crawford's victory. Before the fight, critics dismissed him. Too small, too old, not built to hang with a powerhouse like Canelo at this weight. Yet after the dust settled, those same doubters were suddenly showering him with respect. Oladipo stressed that every bit of praise was deserved because Crawford didn't take an easy road. He walked directly into the fire, moving up divisions to face one of boxing's most dangerous names, and came out with a decisive win. That wasn't luck. It was a monumental risk that paid off in history-making fashion.
31-0, Molly, with 31 knockouts. He's taken on all comers. I asked him, you're moving up in weight. Why would you not try to get Canelo to come down from 168 to 160 to meet you halfway, since Crawford's last fight was at 154? Crawford said, I want what he has. I want to go take it. I don't want to make, I don't want him making concessions and alterations. I'm coming to take what he has. And you look at him, and no one believes that he can't pull it off. He can box, he can punch, he's smart, he's elite, and he wants Canelo. He begged Canelo for this fight.
And then came another sharp reminder from Wade Concept. He completely shut down the excuse that Canelo lost because he's slowing down. Wade pointed out the overlooked truth. Crawford is actually older than Canelo, which means age can't be used to protect Alvarez from the sting of this defeat. If anything, it exposed how Crawford's skill, discipline, and unbreakable willpower were the real story of the night. Canelo Alvarez stepped into that ring with every advantage: weight, power, and the comfort of fighting in his own division. Yet none of it saved him from Terence Crawford's brilliance. Wade made it clear, this wasn't about Canelo being past his prime. This was about Crawford rising to an entirely new level by ripping away every excuse people could hide behind. This win was as authentic, legitimate, and historic as it gets. No shortcuts, no what-ifs, just pure domination. Former world champion Carl Fruck broke down the turning point with surgical detail. By the 6th and 7th rounds, Crawford realized he couldn't just coast, he had to step forward and take control. That's when the jab became his deadliest weapon, snapping through Canelo's guard, shattering his rhythm, and pushing him onto the back foot for the first time all night. Fruck praised Crawford's fight IQ, pointing out how he knew the exact moment to switch gears and press the action harder instead of letting the bout drift away. Another boxing analyst echoed the same sentiment, stressing that Crawford's performance wasn't just a victory, it was a masterclass in ring intelligence. He didn't just beat Canelo with punches, he outthought him, outmaneuvered him, and forced him to play a game he couldn't win. This wasn't just Crawford proving himself, This was Crawford exposing that even a powerhouse like Canelo could be made to look ordinary in the presence of true greatness. The aftermath of Crawford's victory sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Fans who once swore Canelo Alvarez was untouchable were suddenly forced to admit that Crawford had outclassed him in every way. Social media exploded with clips of Canelo looking frustrated, confused, and flat-out human, a sight rarely seen from a fighter who built his name on dominance. Commentators stressed that this wasn't just another big fight upset. It was a seismic shift in boxing's balance of power. Crawford didn't just beat Canelo. He stripped away the aura of invincibility that followed him for over a decade. The conversations online weren't about whether Canelo could bounce back. They were about whether his era at the very top might already be over. Fans accused him of being exposed, while others admitted Crawford had simply rewritten the rules of the game. Analysts doubled down, saying the performance should be remembered as one of the most disciplined, calculated displays ever seen in the sport. Crawford's composure under pressure, his ability to make mid-fight adjustments, and his refusal to get baited into Canelo's traps proved why he belongs in the conversation with the all-time greats. The moment was bigger than just one fight. It was the kind of statement that forces the entire boxing world to reevaluate its hierarchy. One analyst went as far as calling Crawford's performance nothing short of genius. He explained how Crawford didn't just react to Canelo's punches, he predicted them. Every time Canelo wound up, Crawford already had the answer loaded and ready to fire back. This wasn't guesswork. Crawford had clearly studied every habit, every rhythm, every flaw in Canelo's arsenal, and he punished him with perfect counters before the shots even landed. That kind of foresight left Canelo looking stuck in slow motion, his offense reduced to something predictable and limited. The analyst pointed out that most fighters, even world-class champions, tend to freeze under the storm of Canelo's heavy combinations. But Crawford? He dismantled them with icy calm and surgical precision, never once showing fear or panic. His success didn't come from brute power, but from discipline, preparation, and a ring IQ that outshined everything Canelo tried to do. Every defensive slip turned into clean offense, every movement threw Canelo off balance. It was a flawless blueprint unfolding in real time. And Rafael added an even spicier perspective. He reminded everyone that before the fight, fans and pundits laughed at the idea of Crawford beating Canelo. They mocked the size difference and called it impossible. But Crawford himself? He never once viewed it that way. In his mind, there was no giant to slay, just another man to outfight. That self-belief was the difference, and Rafael argued it's exactly why Crawford walked away not just victorious, but as one of boxing's greatest tacticians ever. Instead of shrinking under the hype, Crawford stepped in with the mindset that he and Canelo were equals, and that confidence poured out in the ring. Rafael stressed that belief in yourself is often the razor-thin line between success and failure. Crawford didn't let the noise of critics or the doubts of pundits shape his reality. Instead, he flipped the script and shocked the entire world by redefining what fans thought was even possible. Then came the most emotional words of the night, straight from Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian "Bo-Mac" McIntyre. With pride in his voice, Bo-Mac declared that he always knew Terence Crawford was the greatest of all time, and now the whole world finally sees it too. He admitted this win was not just a victory for Crawford, but a vindication of all the grueling hours, blood, sweat, and sacrifice they endured together in the gym for years. Bo-Mac made it clear, Crawford isn't done yet. Retirement is not on the table. For now, he'll take time to rest, recover, and enjoy the glory. But make no mistake, the boxing world now recognizes what Bo-Mac has always believed. Crawford's greatness is undeniable, and this fight stamped it into history forever. That's it for today's breakdown. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and share it with everyone who saw history unfold. See you on the next one.